Here we are using the microphone and the camera. So audio might be a little rougher. I don't know if it's picking me up as well. I don't know if it'll be picking up any background noise. I don't know if it's going to load the processor less. I'm just not sure how this is going to be different this day. So the audio looks all right. I'm actually doing this without my computer being plugged in, so it's doing repower. Seems to be doing all right with that. Is there something on the lens? No? Oh, it's just a little bit of glare. All right. So doing a test run here of the camera at the Makerspace using the Wi-Fi here. We'll see if we get a lag or freezing up. I'm going to tell you, last night I was a little bit frustrated when I hung up on here last night. So when I finished up the video we did last night, I went to go end the video. And when I hit the end stream button, it locked up. It literally froze the whole browser. And not like a slight freeze, like a full frozen. I had to quit the browser, and then it wouldn't let me open the browser after that. So I had to reboot the whole computer to recover. So rebooting the whole computer last night just to recover from trying to close down the video. I really don't know what's going on with the computer over there. The Wi-Fi over there just doesn't seem to be up to it. And maybe it's the computer. I don't know. I really don't know what caused that last night. So I'm curious to see if this is better. It seems like it's not having as much issue with lag here, but we're still early in the evening. It's following me fine, although I don't think the image is as wide as it was. I don't know if it did a lower resolution or what. I don't think so. But I had a game night tonight with some friends, and so I haven't gotten much done. I may end up acquiring a, I guess we'd call them a roommate now, and it's not one I get to pick. So I imagine we're going to have a little bit of difficulty broadcasting from where I'm sleeping these days. So I may be doing more from here. I haven't eaten much today. I need something. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing today. I can't seem to get my brain focused on where I'm trying to go. We just finished. Did we just finish a health and well-being keto diet update? Yeah. So the next one in the round should be back around to doing a writing. Don't think that's, I know, let's see, no. Okay, so I had the plan for what I was going to do in October. Let's see if it still works doing this. I can hear the fan running up. I don't think it's getting as bad as it is sometimes. It's starting to get a little slow. Okay, so today is, it's the prelude to October. All right, so I was going to swap out for projects. I was going to swap food and writing. So writing starts in November. So I'm going to do something for food this week, I guess. And then video, and then board game, and then product. And then November is going to be writing, art, health and well-being, and video game. Maybe not in that order. I'll figure it out. Still running strong, it looks like. But it looks like I probably get a better signal here. Can't always count on not having interruptions here, but I might be able to just make this work. So I'll figure that out. So starting this week with food-based topic. I mean, I've already done the cooking show attempt, the mukbang. So cooking show, mukbang. Kind of worked on some of the recipes I wanted to try out. I could probably do better with that. And then what else should I do for food? Any thoughts? I had the weird idea that it would be kind of curious to try random food combinations and explore some kind of food experimentation, culinary experimentation. Like I was talking the other day with a friend of mine online. She lives in Germany now. And I was talking about how I had a long time without trying egg salad. And then when I did keto, it was one of the things I could resort to relatively easily because it's a fat. The mayonnaise is high fat, and then the egg yolk is a fat. And so it's a decent keto food. But one of the other foods I was playing around with towards the end there was doing the hollandaise sauce for an eggs Benedict. And the trick is, like a hollandaise sauce, a simple hollandaise sauce, is very much similar to a mayonnaise. Only instead of using olive oil, you're using butter. Instead of, it's butter, egg yolk, and lemon juice. So it's not an aioli sauce, which is just a warm mayonnaise with garlic in it. It's lemon instead of garlic, and the hollandaise sauce is served warm. And so I got to wondering, like, if you make eggs Benedict, you're doing a poached egg, and you do a hollandaise sauce on top of it, and then you have ham, and then you have an English muffin or some other toasted bread item. And I got to wondering, like, all right, so if I took a couple of hard-boiled eggs, like you would to make an egg salad, instead of poached eggs, and diced up some ham and mixed those two together with a hollandaise sauce instead of a mayonnaise, I could make an eggs Benedict salad. And if you serve that on a bread or a muffin of some kind, you have it's very much like an eggs Benedict, but it's also very much like an egg salad sandwich. I'm kind of curious to try something like that. And that sort of weird experiment to see what I could do with it is something maybe I could do this week. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm probably going to only have like my best time for doing that, I think, is probably going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I'll get about 5 days this week. I think I could probably do that. Maybe just I'll have to figure out what other experiments I could do, though. I think I'm starting to get a cold. That would be great. The eggs Benedict salad could be one of them. What else could I do? I don't think I want to stick to keto specific things. And if I do bread or a muffin with my eggs Benedict salad, then it won't be keto anyway. What else could I do? Just a weird, interesting attempt to explore a new way of playing with food. I don't know. It feels like sometimes that everybody's tried many things all at once. So as much as I imagine something as new, I'm sure it's not. So an egg salad sandwich. I should probably do something like a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner food. And then maybe like a snack and a dessert. What could I do for some of those? Well, I don't know. I did want to experiment a little bit with making a cucumber melon pie. That could be interesting to try to explore. And then, so that could be lunch and dessert. Snack-wise, what would I do for a snack? What's a snacky food? I feel like potato chips are too easy. Well, actually, no. A few years ago, they used to do these Lay's potato chip propose a flavor kind of challenges. And there's one that I thought would be an amazing one to make, not only for a flavor as a snack food, but potato chips with this flavoring, if you crush them up and use them as a breading for other foods like chicken breast or fish, these would make an amazing ingredient. And I kept proposing it, and they kept ignoring my proposal. So maybe it's time I just made it and demonstrated it. So I could do Benedict egg salad sandwich, eggs Benedict salad sandwich. I could do a roast red pepper and garlic potato chip. And I could do the cucumber melon pie, maybe, if I could swing it. And then, and maybe that's some of the fun of this week, where I get to talk about failures if they happen. Now I got to figure out breakfast and dinner. What am I going to do for, I haven't, I was going to say, I haven't done a stuffed pepper in a long time. And I'm kind of curious to see if there's a new way to do a stuffed pepper. Something different, something interesting, like a sort of like fish tacos, but doing a pepper of some kind and doing a fish stuffed pepper. That sounds weird enough that I could look into it. So maybe a breakfast item after that. What to do for breakfast? I positively hate things like oatmeal. I don't know if that's on my list of even worth looking at. I mean, I can always try something with pancakes. French toast. They don't they don't hold the same appeal to me. What's like a breakfast thing that I absolutely like? French toast is pretty big on my list of things for breakfast that I enjoy. Um, what would I do for breakfast? Like for me, like the standard for breakfast is always eggs. There's not a lot of new going on in the realm of eggs, though. What could I do for eggs? Like an omelet of some kind? Like what would be a really interesting and unique omelet experiment? I don't know. What would I do for that? French toast, pancakes. Don't think I have a waffle iron even to try a waffle. I always like my mom, bless her heart, loved to serve oatmeal or cream of wheat. And I can't stand mushy food. I just hate it with a passion. And so like cream of wheat where it's like paste, I can't stand it. um I don't know. Like what could I do for I feel like doing something with like a hash brown would be cheating because I mean we're already doing potato for snack. Um, what could I do for a breakfast item? I feel like I want to do something with banana. Weirdly enough. Hmm. Like, could you do it? Could you do a fruity omelet? That would be weird. Like a banana, blueberry, and apple omelet. Oh, but like, what would you put on that? You know, actually, that's not super bad. Um, like at that point, I'm almost doing a casserole. Like I was thinking like maybe I could tear up some bread. Yeah, well, we didn't do a lot of sugar on a lot of our foods. A lot of people put sugar on like cereals at breakfast. You get a bowl of Cheerios and put some sugar in your Cheerios, and like we never did that. Although when I was younger, I used my I had a diabetic father, uh, adoptive father who was diabetic, and so like he drank soda. There were always 2 2-liter bottles of Diet Coke in the house. So we always drank Diet Coke. But when I was in my preteens, I think one morning I got up early for Saturday morning cartoons, and I poured. I'm trying to remember how bad off were we? I don't think we had any milk. I went to and I don't think we had any clean bowls. And so I think I got a glass and some Honey Nut Cheerios. And I poured the Honey Nut Cheerios into a glass, and then I poured Diet Coke on top of that, and I just sat with my glass, sip and chew, sip and chew. And honestly, it was pretty good. At least the way I remember it. I imagine if I had it today, it would nauseate me. But that makes me think of root beer float. I wouldn't do an omelet flavored like root beer, but I'd be curious to maybe try like could I do a pancake? Like a root beer flavored pancake? That would be weird for breakfast. And I wonder, like, you can make a chocolate chip pancake. Some people do that. I were to do this the right way, I would want to do well, maybe I was thinking for a second there, like maybe I could find a way to include like a not quite scoop of vanilla ice cream, some ice cream like. So I could make like a root beer float pancake. I don't know, that would be kind of weird. Kind of hard to make it work right. How would I pull off like you wouldn't do a mousse. What would be the ice cream equivalent of pancake syrup? Well, honestly, if you just did a melted ice cream, it might not be the bad way to go. If you could make a thickened melted vanilla ice cream and pour it as a syrup over a root beer flavored pancake, that would be a worthwhile experiment, I think. If I could make that work. All right. I think maybe that's something worth like exploring. I don't know that it's going to be easy to achieve each of these this week, and I might not get around to it budget-wise or time-wise. I may be sharing my living space soon, so I might not have the opportunity. But I got to explore these opportunities. So root beer float pancakes and eggs Benedict salad sandwich and roast red pepper and garlic potato chips and a unique stuffed pepper and then possibly a cucumber melon pie. That sounds like a very experimental week with food. And we're in October, November. And then I don't think we're doing another food experiment this year, which is probably good. Like the only other thing I could think to do for the next round of food experiments would be something along the lines of, can you recreate classic recipes? I could do that this time. So like do a Big Mac, and maybe I'll do a little bit of each. If it looks like I won't be able to, well, no. I feel like this week, if I want to do each of those 5 experiments, that's fair. And I have to, I have to own up to if I can't make one of them work. That's all there is to that. Just own it. Say I tried this and it didn't work, and that should be my project. I as much as I'm one of those people who hates the idea of like, an example of this would be my friend who was his snowblower broke, and so he needed help fixing it, and so we were working on it, and he was frustrated. He wanted to give up and walk away. But for me, when something's frustrating, it just makes me focus even harder, and like I can't walk away. Like I know we can solve this problem, and I'm not going to be able to let it go until I solve it. So when I'm working on a project that's not working out, I don't usually walk away. usually it gets like, I'll just keep banging my head against this for hours. And I will. There have been times where I hit a problem on a project that should have been a half-hour project. 5 hours later, I'm still going at it because I need to solve this problem. And that's sort of just the way my brain works. So I'm gonna look into seeing if I can do each of these recipes. Maybe next year if I do any more of these. I feel like next year, I don't know that I want to do 4 a month projects. I feel like I think that's a heavy load to keep up with. I do know that I've hit points in this year where I need a little bit of a break. I can't keep pushing at that level and expect not to burn out. And I think if I'm lucky, I'm going to make it through this year and then say like, okay, so we can go at a slower pace from now. And maybe not do one for each category next year. Like maybe I want to focus for a month or two on writing. Maybe I want to develop more of my choose your own adventure style videos and audio games. And maybe that's all I'll do next year. I imagine I'll still want to make a board game or two. Maybe just not be so strictly each week a new project kind of thing. I'll just pick a project and work on it until I'm at an impasse or finish it. I think that's probably a more productive way to go about it next year. And they're 8 months. There's plenty of room in there to get. Well, there are 8 categories. There's plenty of room in there to do a daily update on a few other little projects that I might have going on the side. So if I do more fitness and well-being stuff, I might start the year with some of that. Because everybody starts a new year with a New Year's resolution to do more exercise, and that's usually a good time to work with others and talk about different projects you can do in that area. I think for me overall, the product development and the food videos, and sometimes the video game ones, are not high on my passion scale. So the idea of doing, like, by the end of this year, I'll have 5 of each. Like, maybe if I only do one taste thing next year, or if inspiration strikes and it's like, oh, I have an idea for what we can do, in a week or so, maybe then I'll do it. I haven't sold any yet because I haven't released any of them for sale yet. I do want to see if that's sort of like why I'm thinking like December. When we get to December, I want to be able to have a finished thing that people can either download and play an example model for, or like the audio games are easier to do because the audio video games that the YouTube video style games that I'm working on, there's no structure I have to go through to sell something like that, and there's no restriction on my ability to do that. Whereas ownership rights of a board game design that I do are still up in the air, and part of what I need to do for that is build my own website, maybe load some PDFs on there that people can download, and then start a Patreon account for this website that you can support the projects there through a donation purchase rather than set a price for it. And so I think I want to try to do some of that in this next month. But the actual board game stuff, I have the rules worked out. nobody's play tested them with me yet because I can't seem to get anybody to do that just yet. But got most of everything I need to work out for the access granted, and the Captain Rita Raygun's thrilling interplanetary adventure story game. That one, I don't have the board game for that one done yet. I keep changing some of the rules and tweaking it a little bit, and when I've got them sort of roughly where I think I want them to be, there's still going to be a lot of playtesting because that one, a lot of the rules on that one are very finicky. And it's very easy if I tweak them to get them wrong enough that the game becomes harder to play. And I want to get them right. So I really should do some more playtesting on that. But I should be able to get access granted, Captain Rita Rayguns, potentially the superhero dice by the end of the year. Because I still have to do a little bit of playtesting on that too. But, and then, what was that? What was the other one that we did? Oh, like the modular one I was working on last month. And there will be a board game design in October that I'm working on. So we have access granted, Captain Rita Raygun, superhero, I feel like I'm missing one. There should be 5 by the end of the year. And the modular one is 4. I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, well, yeah, because it'll be October's game, whatever that happens to be. So that should be 5 games by the end of the year. I'm hoping to be able to release them. I'd love to be able to do a release or talk about my Runcible food, which I made before even the start of this year. It's a couple years ago, a few years ago. And I think I could potentially do, I think it would be fun in December to talk about some of those games. I think Runcible Foods is actually something that's possible to do as a for sale item from the game design website. Access granted, I feel like is a print and play kind of game. I might be able to do Captain Rita Raygun's thrilling planetary adventure story game as a printable card game as well, or a purchasable card game. And the superhero dice, I feel like I might be able to do through the game site as well. I can open a store on that site and sell my game designs. So I think that those 3 may be possible to do as purchasable games through a store. I'm always a little careful about those because I hate the idea of a game costing $30 to $50 for somebody. Maybe that's just the cheap guy in me, but I would like to think that anybody who wanted to purchase my game could purchase it for a reasonable price. So whenever possible, I feel like I minimize any profit I could make off of that game and make it clear, as close to the elevator pitch for those novels, those short stories, I've dabbled a little bit more with the story outlining and a little bit of framing for them, but I haven't had the sit down right time that I wanted. And I feel like if I could get some of that this month, where I'm going to be reading short stories each day and giving a review and creative ideas inspired by them, that shouldn't be much more than an hour or 2 of my time because they're short stories. Whereas oftentimes reading a whole book is an entire day of my, whether or not I do it in a single day or spread it out over a week. And watching a movie is 2 hours of my time. And playtesting a board game is oftentimes about 2 or 3 hours of my day. Whereas being able to read a short story, review it, and then come up with creative prompts based on it, that's going to take a lot less of my time. So I feel like I'm going to have a little bit of time during the daytime to work on some of that writing. And that writing will be warm up for me going into November, where I'll do a lot more writing. So those three things that I was doing the elevator pitches for back, was it 2 months ago? No, it was 4 months ago, I think. Yeah, it had to be 4 months ago. 2 months ago was I ended up building out the cosmology of my fantasy series. But yeah, I mean, they're still there, and those stories still need to be written. They're in the process. The writing and there's still a lot of rework going on with the nonfiction that I started on New Year's. There's still, I mean, as much as just consolidating data into one place seems like it would be simple, the formatting structure that I made for myself for that one is a lot of extra work. But I feel like the three stories that I was working on with the elevator pitches on Tumblr, I could do the short horror story probably as just a free post. I might do that on Tumblr. I could probably do the mid-sized story, like the novella, just slightly longer version of a short story. The second one in the trio. That one I could possibly do on Tumblr as a serialized piece of fiction. And I don't know that I'm going to be terribly upset if I lose the rights to that. But I feel like the bigger one, that bigger story should be a novel that I get to the point where I could sell that as a Kindle Direct publishing book. And if I do that, I'll probably set the price around $1 or $2. Make it a nice low price, because it's just a writing experiment, an exploration of a story, and that's fine. It'll be a file you can download from Amazon for a small price and make it easier on everybody. If at a later point I want to consolidate, say, all three of those stories, or that story and a couple other stories into a bigger volume, I might do that and sell that as a book. But I don't know. I'll have to, because if I release them for free on Tumblr, there's some question as to whether or not I would be able to sell them as a published book ever. Because once they're free on the internet, there's a certain kind of legal game that you have to play just right to be able to sell it, which is weird because Andy Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian, he published it as a serial on a website first, and then he compiled it into a book, and it was selling well enough that he got a deal with a publisher to sell it. So I guess the only thing to really happen on that front would be to try it and see if I make any mistakes and learn from those mistakes and share what I learned about it. I think that's probably, I'll just have to do that at that point. So books, board games, videos, products, I still have the possibility of opening up an Etsy store again and seeing if I could sell those puzzles. And I have a slight variation on that I could do as well. that I have a design that I could do that lets me like laser etch a company or an organization's logo on it, and you split that logo up, and then you have to figure out how to get it all together and do the individual pieces for the coasters, or vice versa. Each coaster has the logo for the company, and you try to assemble them into a larger tray. The big issue with that design idea is if you do a logo on both the coasters and the tray, you have to do opposite sides of those pieces. And when you've got part of a pattern for the logo on the pieces, it helps you figure out how to get it back together. And that's, to me, that feels less fun if you have a hint or a clue of how to finish it. So, but I have that one. What was my second project? I think my second project was it wasn't the backpack, was it? There's okay, so projects were the backpack, which I can sell the patterns to. I think I can even sell the patterns on Etsy. And then the third one was the pages for the bullet journal. What was the fourth project that we did? Let me pull my notebook out here. See where we were on those. Where is my project list? I've been keeping track because I need to keep track of all the little things that I'm still kind of playing with in the background. Nope, 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 nope. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. Aha! So here's my page. So the books that I'm working on were the nonfiction that I started with, the 3 elevator pitch stories that I was working on, Goblin's Daughter, and then I had 3 sci-fi stories that I was working on. And then the videos, I had the sketches that I was making. I gotta remember to do those. And then the 0 camera video ideas and the cheap camera video ideas were 2 of them. So the horror story, the sketches, and the 2 different types of camera videos. Games was Haxess, 2-reader ray gun games. One of them I'll probably be able to finish by the end of the year. Superhero dice, modular game, and then the one I'm going to be working on this month in October. Product was puzzle tray, backpack, bullet journal. Aha, yes, the kaiju socks and the hero hoodie. So the Godzilla socks. So that was the other one I wanted to work on, the sock puppets. So I should be able to get some of those designs done by the end of the year. And those would be, like the socks and the hoodie should be available through, I'm going to see if I can open up a Teespring website, merchandise site. And then the backpack and the puzzle tray, possibly through Etsy. I don't know if I could do bullet journal templates through Etsy. I might be able to do them as PDF files and maybe even compile them as a book that you could purchase and sell through Amazon. Food. Oh, my battery's getting low. I'm going to have to finish this up soon. Yep, update. Yep, you're telling me you're running low on battery. Thank you very much. I saw the dimming of the screen. Got about maybe 5 minutes left. Food. I could probably do the recipes available on Tumblr. Art, music, audio, video games. Okay, so, and then we have the video games, which was, I had the zombie game that I was working on, Captain Mr. Space Ninja, Cuddle Pop, Liquid Metal Rage, and Captain Cosmos and trivia games that were audio games. So